Story 1. I don't necessarily think it's unhygienic, although it can be. Chewing with their mouths open causes annoyance. Story 2. Not washing their hands after urinating. It does not matter if you urinate or defecate. Wash your hands afterward. Story 3. Taking makeup and skincare products out of the packaging to test them before putting them back in. I see many people doing this at Marshall's and CVS. Story 4. Try to go from anus to vagina digitally, orally, or through penetration in flagrante delicto. No way am I risking that infection. It is just gross. Story 5. I am European living in America in a small apartment. Before I can even ask people to remove their shoes, they manage to step on my carpet. Story 6. Women who hover, sit down. You are not protecting yourself from germs by hovering over the seat. All you are doing is sprinkling the seat and leaving it for the next person to deal with. Bonus frustration. When women do not flush afterward because they do not want to touch the handle. If you are concerned, grab a square of toilet paper and use it to flush the handle. Do not use your foot. Then wash your hands. I was in a public bathroom recently where every stall had waste and half had sprinkles. Story 7. Wearing shoes in the house is not advisable. You do not know what your shoes have stepped in. Spit, vomit, dog waste, or urine from someone who peed in the street when no one was looking. It is unpleasant. Story 8. Smearing feces on walls, peeing into condoms, tying them, and then shoving them into urinals. Chunks of phlegm all over the walls, toilets, sinks, and mirrors. Full cartons of milk, provided free to them, smashed on the floors and walls. Literally throwing chunks of feces on walls, food on walls, gummed up toilet paper on walls. This is just in a high school boys' bathroom. All of this happening within a week to a month. I could write a novel. Story 9. Giving me my soda cup upside down on the counter where everyone stands to pay for their food allows it to pick up all the germs along the rim where I am going to drink from. Story 10. Not washing your legs and feet while showering. Also, not wrapping your menstrual products in toilet paper before disposing of them. Story 11. This is a very common behavior. Men often have their hand down their pants almost subconsciously while sitting and watching television, then using the remote control. Story 12. Not washing hands after eating certain foods, such as a sandwich, can spread germs. Please wash your hands before touching anything else. Story 13. Cutting fingernails in the kitchen. Not putting down the toilet lid. Wearing shoes on the stretching mats at the gym. Eating sticky or saucy food. Licking fingers, wiping them on pants, then sitting on a clean sofa. Scratching. Not showering, then going to the gym smelling bad before starting to work out. Story 14. I worked in an office where a middle-aged woman lived alone with her cats. We had a potluck one day, and I went into the break room for coffee. Everyone had brought something. I saw a lovely yellow daffodil cake and tasted the frosting. I told everyone, "Hey, there is cake in the break room." They all froze and exchanged looks. They asked, "You did not eat it, did you?" I said no. Apparently, this woman is not a good housekeeper and allows her cats on her tables and counters, and they lick her butter. I gagged. They said she brought a cake once that had a bunch of cat hair in it. Story 15. Washing hands with soap and water after using the restroom is important. Simply dipping fingertips in water is not sufficient for proper cleaning. Story 16. Parents letting their toddlers crawl on carpeting in department stores, airports, and restaurants. Those carpets are never cleaned, and they are discussing it. Story 17. Allowing their dog to lick their face, especially their mouth. The dog was literally just licking its rear end. Story 18. Sauna culture in the United States is unusual because it is acceptable to enter the sauna in the gym after a workout without showering first and while wearing the clothes worn during the workout. Story 19. Cutting their nails in public. I have seen it happen on trains, in waiting rooms, and in restaurants. I do not understand it. Story 20. Leaving the toilet seat open in their homes with the face towels placed right next to or above the toilet. Another issue is people cutting raw chicken and touching other items before washing their hands. Story 21. We went on a family vacation to a very high-end resort for families. We were the only guests of a different nationality. I saw people using the toilet barefoot when urine was all over the floor and not washing their hands after using the toilet. Children were doing the same. I was too grossed out to enter the toilet with my shoes on, while those people were barefoot. From my understanding, it was common for them not to wash their hands. I'm not sure about walking in urine. The resort was especially for people from a certain Scandinavian country, which my country regards as one of the most civilized in Europe. Story 22. Eating in public without washing your hands first. Coming home from the store and not washing your hands afterward. Story 23. They wash their hands but do not clean under their fingernails. Excuse me, but that is literally a collection of all the germs from your entire day in a neat little petri dish of fingernail protection. Story 24. One day I noticed a man handling every fresh loaf in a basket in a store without gloves. I thought, oh my God, never buying unpackaged bread again. Story 25. People spitting on the ground. Please use a tissue or go to the bathroom. I don't want to see your foamy phlegm. Story 26. Spitting. Why is it so acceptable to spit? I see football players spit, and all I can think is, someone is going to be rolling in that. Story 27. Eat in bed. I just can't. Why would you want to sleep in crumbs and everything crawly that comes with having food bits around? Story 28. I work in a shop full of careless people who openly sneeze every time without covering properly. They take a step back, turn their neck 90 degrees, and loudly sneeze as they spray their mist into the air as hard as they can. Story 29. Not washing their hands the right way. Most people just get their hands wet and rub them a few times. I am still talking about washing hands. Story 30. I have worked as a cashier, and people who lick their fingers before handling and handing their bills. I do not want your saliva. Story 31. Sneezing disgustingly. There are ways to sneeze inwardly. I know people hate to hear this and get mad at me when I propose it, but it is an easy thing to do. It is not unhealthy. You still get your sneeze out, but you are just not spraying it everywhere. Story 32. Sneezing into their hands. It does not even make sense. Why would you want to feel that? And you are just going to touch things afterward? Story 33. People spray sneeze particles everywhere without any effort to cover their mouths with their elbows. Story 34. Blowing their nose without washing their hands allows moisture and bacteria or viruses to wick through several layers of tissue and get on your hands. Story 35. Wipe their nose before taking my card, handing me food, offering me a pen, or anything involving contact from their nose to objects that other people will touch. Story 36. I lived with someone who cooked food in the kitchen with messy hands and touched all the handles without washing or wiping their hands. In the morning, I would go in to make breakfast and find dried gunk on the fridge handle, sink handle, oven switches, microwave handle and buttons, and cupboard handles every day. It was absolutely disgusting and enraging. This was a full-grown adult. Story 37. Using the same sponge in the office for months. It looks like SpongeBob SquarePants became a ghoul from Fallout. I see people using it to clean their cups, and it makes me want to vomit. Story 38. Not check the toilet seat before leaving the bathroom. Many times, I find drops of urine or pubic hair that were very obvious and not cleaned up. I am sure a lot of it is people who do not care. But does it hurt to check when you are done? Story 39. Licking their fingers to remove identification, cash, or credit card from their wallet before handing it to me. I am a bartender and lead security, and it makes my skin crawl every time. Story 40. I pick my nose. It is not simply a force of habit, but because I cannot stand the feeling of hard wall boogers. I feel them in my nose with every little micro-expression I make. That said, I hate anything to do with saliva, including licking fingers while counting cash that will be handed to me, hair chewing, spitting on the street, sharing beverages, and my most hated thing is when someone says, "There is something on your face. Let me get it," and then licks their finger to touch your face to rub it off. If anyone ever tries to do that to me again, I will punch them in the face. Story 41. Wearing shoes in the house, I will wear them at the in-laws since their favorite son does it and because they do not like me, but yuck. Story 42. Drink directly from the milk carton, juice bottle, or community fridge liquid. It is unpleasant, especially for guests. I understand if it is your personal mini fridge, but anything communal is not acceptable. Story 43. Wear gloves for sanitary reasons, such as sterile manufacturing or food preparation, and remember that the gloves themselves can become contaminated. Story 44. Rubbing boogers on the walls. Why do men do this? There are many other places to put it, not to mention a tissue or just anything you are going to throw away. Some of the most attractive men I have ever known were the ones who blew snot rockets or wiped their boogers on the wall. Story 45. I have flown a lot in my life, hundreds of times for work. There are probably 100 things flyers do that apply here. We all know when the toilet flushes, it is loud and people can hear it in the cabin. The correct sequence of events at the end is to 1. Flush toilet. 2. Wash hands. 3. Leave. If the extremely loud noise of the toilet occurs and then 1 second later you emerge from the toilet, you are disgusting. I am no genius and am merely average, but I understood the importance of washing hands at around 5 years old. As adults, what possible excuse do these people have? Story 46. About to be specific, I do not know if it applies to women, but if you are sitting on a public toilet and happen to grow any hair on your buttocks at all, wipe the 6 o'clock spot on the toilet seat. Even a clean person can leave a few hairs, but an unclean person will leave hair, sweat marks, and strange discoloration on the back of the toilet seat. Unhygienic individuals may urinate and defecate wherever, which is more severe, but some people think they are clean yet leave that unpleasant mark on toilet seats. Story 47. I have seen many people biting their nails in public and then touching door handles or other objects. Yuck. Story 48. Men standing to urinate cause bathroom odors, and the back of the toilet should not be yellow. Story 49. Picking their noses and then expecting you to shake hands with them, even after rubbing their fingers on their clothing. Story 50. I see many men at the gym not washing their hands and looking at you walking past as if it is normal. It is crazy. Story 51. Rinsing the soap off their hands immediately after applying it. It does not matter how long you rub it under the water, you have washed off the soap. Story 52. Wearing outside shoes inside and sitting on any furniture in your home after being outside is unhygienic. I quarantine myself and have specific clothes for indoors. Story 53. Not using deodorant while working in food service. Wearing personal underwear in the onsen. If you do not want to be fully nude, just go to a regular swimming pool and wear a proper bathing suit. Onsens require full nudity. I do not want to bathe with your underwear from outside. Story 54. Drinking from a bottle or soda can and producing backwash. Please swallow what is in your mouth. Story 55. Not using the small spoon provided to get the seeds in the dish on the way out of an Indian restaurant, and instead digging in with their hands, getting their fingers all over everything. Story 56. Women who do not check for the blood stain they leave under the toilet seat when they remove their tampon. Then he wiped his hand on his shirt and opened the door. Story 58. Licking their fingertips when taking a bill out of their wallet. You would think COVID-19 would have taught them something. But sure, give me your spittle on top of all the other gross things money is usually covered in. Story 59. Men truck drivers who refuse to walk to the restrooms while they are at the fuel aisle and urinate between their cab and trailer. Story 60. Soiling and urinating all over the public bathroom. First of all, how did you miss that? Second, trigger warning on the door. Please. On the wall, on the floor. Disgusting. Story 61. Having body odor, the kind that lingers after they have walked away and the kind that burns your nose. I understand that you can get it mildly from the weather and doing strenuous physical tasks, but once it starts flaring up, fully wash yourself, change your shirt, and apply deodorant thoroughly. The fact that people stink like this in very cold months is troubling to me. Additionally, many who are like this are often dressed very well, even better than I do, and style their hair, but still have potent paint remover fermenting under their arms. Story 62. Spitting. People spit inside and it is gross. I have seen this in gyms, in vehicles, in homes, in hallways, in walkways, and more. It is sickening. Just swallow or aim for the trash. Story 63. Not washing hands properly is a common issue. It does not matter if it is after using the toilet, after exercising, after eating with your hands, after touching your mouth, or after touching something sticky. You do not need to wash your hands every time you touch something, but please, not washing your hands can make you and others sick. Also, not cleaning between the buttocks is a problem. People often do not clean their phones or touch screens. Many use their phones while on the toilet and touch them both before and immediately after washing their hands. Story 64. Practically running out of the bathroom at work like they are so important that they cannot waste time washing their hands. We can all hear that the toilet is still mid-flush. Maggie. Story 65. Blow their nose loudly in front of a room full of people in the work break room, then go around touching everything with their dirty fingers. Story 66. They handle each other's phones and offer you their phone to look at something. All those phones have been in unsanitary conditions with them, and I know they do not clean the phones. Story 67. When someone licks their finger and then turns a page in a book, a teacher did that once while checking my work. I gave her the most disgusted face. Story 68. When men do not wash properly and have body odor when they want intimacy, they should lift themselves and wash underneath with soap. Also, apply soap in the skin folds and rinse thoroughly. Story 69. Some women use the washroom, hit the paper towel dispenser multiple times, wash their hands, and grab the towel on their way out. Gross. Story 70. I have seen shows with people in shops trying on underwear or swimsuits without their own underwear on between their skin and the clothing item. Now, that is truly disgusting. Story 71. I was having a massage in a small business where you can hear everything. I could hear the toilet flush and then no running water from one of the other massage therapists. Story 72. I have a friend. I think he doesn't shower, just goes out and puts on perfume, but he still smells very bad. It got so bad once that I just couldn't walk with him because of the smell. I have told him, but he says he couldn't be bothered. Story 73. Not washing their dishes. I don't care if it looks clean because I guarantee you if I hold it up to the light, I will be able to see oily streaks from food. If you cannot wash them properly, do not bother, especially if someone else, like me, is wasting hours of their day washing them for you to add dirty ones to the clean pile. Story 74. I actually think picking your nose should be illegal. It enrages me when people say everyone does it. I certainly do not do it because it is disgusting. Story 75. Not brushing their teeth after eating. Not taking a bath or shower after going out. Not covering their mouth when sneezing or coughing. Story 76. Not washing their hair. Some girl told me they only wash their hair once a week because it is bad for your scalp to wash daily. I wash every other day, but a week is unhygienic. Story 77. Having multiple cats and dogs. They do not have buttocks and just sit directly on your counters, furniture, and carpet. Animals are cool, but I have developed a germ phobia toward houses with multiple pets. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.